Alright, so first things first, we'll show you what I'm trying to make here. And the reason I'm trying to make this Adirondack chair, which is this right here that's see in front of you, is a buddy of mine has made these before. He's made a few, and he does, he's an actual woodworker, does his manual labor work, that ghetto, hands-on, elbow grease crap. And I was like, you know what? I want to put my CNC up against you. So we're gonna have a competition to see who's faster, man versus machine. Which that video will be coming out later after this one, where I'm going to model everything in Fusion 360, all the pieces for this chair, and I will cut them out, and he's going to do the same thing manually, and we're just going to see who can get all the pieces completed the fastest. That doesn't include assembly, which again, you can, if you follow and watch the next video, you'll get to see that. But just seeing who can cut them out, rounded edges, looking nice, all that good jazz. So that's why I'm looking at this classic Adirondack chair. I don't know anything about this chair, so don't ask, don't put in comments, is that chair from, Connecticut? I have no clue. It's just a damn chair to me. If you're watching me, then you should know I don't know crap about what I'm doing. I'll just do it because it's fun. So the first thing we need off of this page is just information. And the main thing I'm looking for, because I need to model these pieces, is measurements and stuff. And luckily, this wood archivist.com, I don't know if that's all their pages, but they actually have other links here, different chairs, and it's really good about people sharing their information. As you can see here, they show you how to put it together, they show you the steps they went through, but the main thing I want is this. That's way too damn much. Is this. So right here has all the pieces I'm going to need, the count that I'm going to need, and the size of every piece. And as you can see, all of it's going to be a 3/4 inch cut piece of wood for everything. And thank you, Lori, for this information. But also, they give me these templates here. Now, what people who do this manually do is, you can see down here where they're like, enlarge 40% or get printable full-size templates at woodcraftmagazine.com. Now, what they will do is either enlarge these and print them themselves, or order them. And they'll actually cut out these templates so it's the right size and everything, lay it on the board, and then manually cut everything out. I can't do that, obviously, with CNC machine. I can't just say, hey, CNC machine, just follow the black line, you dumbass. And no, can't do that. Wish I could. Actually, that'd be cool as hell, but I can't. So what I have to do is take each of these, scale them in Photoshop a certain way, put them in Fusion, and then model those pieces. Basically, we'll have to trace these lines and get everything set up. And the hardest part about it is just make sure everything's measured properly. It's not super hard, but it is the hardest part. So as you can see here, I've already saved this image, and also saved this image because we're going to want those readily available. The piece we're going to be working on today, we'll go ahead and do the arm here, just because it has some nice curves, it has some nice straight lines, so kind of get a little bit of all worlds. And as I mentioned in the intro, I'm not a professional. I'm actually not even that good at this. It's just something that's fun to do. I'm learning, and if I make mistakes, I'm gonna let you see it all. I'm gonna make mistakes, be oh wait, damn, I should do it this way, and I will. So we're just gonna kind of learn from that. All right, so let's go ahead and take this image and let's get these into Photoshop and start working with them. So what we're gonna want to do is we need to take this whole image, cut out this arm, and then let's just start scaling it there. We're not looking for exact scaling in Photoshop. I'm gonna try to make it a little bit exact just for the heck of it. But everything's primarily done in Fusion, the exacting standards anyway. Let's go ahead and open and images, new folder. As you can see here, I kind of already been messing with this stuff, but the recording I did during all this, because I have these cutouts, I'll show you the end result we're looking for is it'll look similar to that. But we're actually going to do this one a little bit different, but it's going to look similar to that. So anyway, let's go back to open, but I was doing it before and my recording messed up, so I'm redoing it. Here we are. So let's go ahead and let's open up our plans. And let's open up our sizes. Go ahead and zoom in on that just for the heck of it. Now, first thing we want to do is let's go ahead and make the image, the canvas that we're going to be working with, two sides. So we know we're going to be working on the arm here. I actually showed you the wrong image a second ago. Oh well. The arm is 5 1/8 inch wide and 27 7/8 inch long. So we're going to do that, and we'll call this just arm vid. That way I don't get it mixed up with my other one. Make sure this switched to inches. And I don't know fractions, so if you do and you're about to say, oh my god, he's using a calculator, yeah, get over it. So we know it's 5, oh, sorry. So 5/8 inches, so it's 5.625 is going to be our width. 5.625, and this is why we have this here, because I don't want to click back over. Let's see, the arm is 27 7/8, so 7 over 8, 0.875, 27.875. So now we have a canvas to work with, and the reason I'm doing it this way is previously I just cut this out. I would cut out like the arm or the leg or whatever I needed and then put in the new one, not worrying about size whatsoever. But I'm doing it this way just because it will help a little bit in Fusion to help me make sure everything's aligned, and also getting some, whenever I'm drawing the lines and the splines and stuff like that. So we're going to do it this way. So what I'm going to do is make sure we got our cuts here. And grab this arm. Make sure we get it all. And I don't want this piece. So we're going to get rid of that. So just so you know, I'm holding down Alt while I'm selecting, and that will remove instead of add. Like if I wanted to add it back in, I just hold down Shift. You know, I can add whatever pieces I want. Like I can add more. But I don't, so I'm not going to. So there's that. So we're just going to cut that out. I like to cut them. You can copy them. It doesn't matter. The only reason I cut it is just so I know if I'm doing multiple pieces, I can know for sure that, oh, I've already done this piece. I don't need to do it again. See right here, I accidentally left that in. So we're going to delete that corner because that went to a different part. So what we're going to do is we're just going to resize this. We're going to do sides to sides, top to top, bottom to bottom. Because we know this canvas is the right inches we want. So we don't care about all this white space here. So actually, what would it? We'll clean up the white space as well. I didn't do that last time. We'll clean up the white space. So anyway, I got it close enough. So I just want the black lines of the drawing to meet the ends of the canvas. Now you'll look here. What I'm going to do is you can see that I'm actually cutting off some of the pixels. That's fine, because I know I've learned the way I like to do it. Maybe it's not the best way. I think it is though. Is to use the darkest line in the middle. That way you have a clean reference point while working in Fusion. So I just care, I want to get that darkest line right there on the edge. Alright, so that's the bottom. So now let's go up here. And we're going to move you now. Give me that dark edge, baby. I can't see the white line. I'm going to have to guess here. Alright, so that's that. Ah, yeah. Okay. So now we come over here. Now be sure whenever you're scaling these, left to right, up and down, you're getting the widest point. Like, I don't want to come in here and be like, oh, you're down there, derp, 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 because then you'll just ruin it. So don't do that. So I know the widest point is down here. This is actually gonna be a little bit tough because I gotta get a point here somewhere. We'll use this one. So I can't zoom in as well, but you can still see where that black line is. So I'm going to, right there looks good. No, okay, that point's still good. And whenever you resize stuff, just kind of as you're scrolling through, double check, make sure everything stayed in place, because I've had that switch on me before for some reason. So I can see that line I did a second ago is still good. Now for the top, the exact same thing. This is going to be my highest point right here. So we're going to drag that up to the nice black line. All right. Now, before we finish this and hit enter and say we're good to go, see, that bottom does not, see, look, you saw me do that. That's why you double check things. Okay, that's still good. Again, honestly, this doesn't even matter that much. You really do not have to get these dead on. I'm just doing it for the heck of it right now. All right, good enough. So Now we're just going to hit enter. Oop. Now we're going to hit enter. And that's going to pretty much lock it in place. So what we're going to do, just for the heck of it, let's go ahead and see if we can get rid of this white here. Let's delete that white, just because there's really no point for it. Anywhere you can have transparency in case you want to do more with this is better. So just get rid of it. So something else I'm going to do here now, because I just like to have the reference, is I'm going to go to my sizes picture I brought in and find the arm. And I know it's always 3/4, so no need to get that. I'm just going to copy. Well, actually, let's go ahead and cut it just like the other, so I know I did it. And again, the whole reason I'm cutting is just whenever I was doing a bunch of pieces, it helped me keep track of what I'd actually already done instead of having to look back and forth saying, oh, did I do this arm? Did I do that arm? So anyway, I'm going to cut that, paste it in here. Wow, that's small. Oh, that's right. This is like 27 inches. So if you hold down Shift, it will keep it, proportioned. That way you're not skewing it, making it too wide or too tall or whatnot. So we're going to make this 90 degrees. It's going to make it bigger. And I'll bring it down here so I can see arm. And you'll see why I'm doing this in a little bit, while I'm also not hiding arm. I'm intentionally not doing that. So hit enter, and luckily it rescales everything and refinishes however you want. I'm not a graphic person, so I don't know the correct terms, but refinish so it's legible again. I can see 5 1/8 by 27 7/8. So what we will do is save this as, I'm not going to save the PSD. I highly recommend you do, in case, because look, you're watching? Watch, oh, wrong one. Now look, no, it's not in there either. Where'd I put it? Oh, they're in here. These are my files for the original, so save your PSD files, because you never know when you might want to make an edit. I'm not on this one just because it's purely for this video, so I'm just going to save this as a PNG, and arm bid's perfectly fine, so we'll just save it in there. I do none. This is up to you. I do none just because I have plenty of disk space, and it's just an image. It's not going to hurt me. So, all right, save that. Now we get into the fun stuff. Now we get to work with Fusion. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to come into Fusion. We're going to start new, which it's already got a new one here, but just so you can see it. Want to start a new project, you just come up here to the File, and then select New Design. And I'll close that one out now. The very first thing I do whenever I'm working on a project that I want to make sure I don't accidentally mess up on is I save it. And the reason I do that is because Fusion won't start auto-saving until you at least save once initially. That may have changed. That's just what I've heard. So I've just gotten in the habit of doing this to make sure, because I've had multiple times. Hell, before I did this video, my electric apparently went out while I was at work. Came home and I had all of my wood stuff that I'd been working on, and apparently they all went down. But I had the auto saves, and the reason they were auto saved is because I saved initially. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to use that drawing we just made in Photoshop as a canvas. You know, you think of canvas like a painter. We're going to be doing the same thing. We're going to bring that canvas in so we can paint on top of it in essence. We're going to draw lines. We're going to trace it. We're going to cheat. We are horrible artists. We need other people's art to trace to make it look good. So what you do, go up here to Insert, and then select Attached Canvas. We would always do it on this plane. It doesn't really matter which one you select because whenever you get into tooling and everything, you can adjust your Z, Y, and X axis anyway. I just do it on this one because that's the one I always work on. I'm used to it, so that's what I'm going to do. So as you can see, I selected one face, which is that plane right there that's now blue. Now I'm going to select my image. Let's go back to the new one I created. And arm bid. I'm going to select that. I'm going to click top here just because I want to see it, you know, like this, much easier to work with. I'm going to resize this just because I want it bigger right now for easier to work with, but it really, right now, does not matter what size you make it. And just to prove it to you, I'm going to go against what I like to do. Itty freaking bitty. I can't. There. Now it's itty bitty. I hope you're happy. So now let's scroll on this itty bitty ass picture because you weren't happy with me resizing. Now, the whole understanding of why the certain resizing in Photoshop and everything and the resizing in Fusion initially doesn't matter is about to come to light. Now, don't get me wrong. You don't want to make a horrible image that's skewed and stuff. Like, you still want it lined up, like the right angle, stuff like that. But what we're going to do with this now, we have the canvas on here. So we're going to go over here to canvas, do drop down, select our arm bid, and select calibrate. Now, what calibrate does is it's going to let us select 2 points. And from those 2 points, we tell it from point 1 to point 2, this is how long it should be, or what the distance is between these 2 points. So what I'm going to do, usually I do this from bottom to top. Let's do it from side to side. So we know side to side, it's 5 1/8. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to go ahead and select the black. Oh, here's one of the reasons I was doing the... actually, I'm going to do top to bottom again. I'll explain why. One of the reasons I started doing this to where I was actually resizing the image better in Photoshop is because if this were straight right here, didn't have this curve right here, I could actually just select, and technically I still can. Let's do it to find out. But you can select the edges here because you have these straight lines, this slight border right there. You can select those edges, say from here to here is 5 1/8. Like, I don't care about the drawing line. I just know from here to here is 5 1/8. So let's do that, see if it works out the way I want. Because it worked out perfect on the other ones because it's a little bit straighter. But I didn't think about how good it would actually work in regards to this. And you don't have to be this picky. I'm just doing it because, shut up. So got that point. And it doesn't matter if you select higher up or higher down. Because I'll show you. So we got that. See how it kind of drew that line so the two are connected? So now that line looks crooked, but it's not actually crooked. It just knows that it needs to point at that point. So what we're going to do, you broke it. Oh, what the? Oh, there must have been an update. So I was looking for this up here. If you look up here in my top left corner, right above model, can I move that? No, I can't. Yeah, because this used to be down here. I don't know why they moved it up here. I really actually don't like that. So what we're going to do, in Fusion, you can do fractions. So I don't have to whip out the calculator again because I already forgot. So I can tell that that is 5 5/8 inches. And see how it disappeared? It's not broken. Because here's the magic of Fusion. As I scroll out, it disappeared because it got humongous. Because now, if we were to draw lines, you know what? It's a video. I'm going to actually do it, and I'll just tell you what it would do. So this, I'll explain what just happened in a second. So if we, and this isn't going to be exact because I'm just trying to get through it, is I'm going to draw a line on each end, and if we did this properly, each end should measure from point to point 5 5/8. So I'm going to hit D for distance, the distance tool. I'm going to select this line and select this line, then go up. That's 5.431. What was our 5.625. Now let's see. That's actually a little bit more off than I would like. So let's try to figure out why. Let's troubleshoot a little bit. Because we don't want it too far off. I mean, if you think about 0.2 is not much, but still in CNC, 0.2 matters to me. So what we're going to do, because I'm actually uncomfortable with this, we're going to delete those. We're going to recalibrate this, make sure we got it just right. Let's stop the sketch. Oh, let me explain that. The reason it started a sketch, which I'll show you how to manually start the sketch, is because I hit L for line, and I was trying to draw a line here, so Fusion automatically knew, oh, he's wanting to sketch. I need to start sketching, because on mine I have the grid still shown, so I can tell it immediately threw me into sketch, so that way I can draw the line that I was wanting to do. So Control Z, get back out of that. Let's get back out of sketch. All right, let's calibrate this one more time. And let's just again go from line to line. Come on, 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 mouse. Okay. From that point, I wonder. I could be wrong. Maybe it is because I was so far off on it being crooked. So let's try to make this a little bit more lined up this time. More of a straight line here, from point to point. Right there. Oh, yeah. See, that may actually matter. I bet you that's what did it. So see, I told you I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Damn, you didn't believe me, but now you know. You believe me now? Damn right, you believe me. All right, we're going to say that is 5 and 5/8. It resized a little bit. I can't tell how much because it's so small anyway. So we already have a sketch here. For now, I'm just going to edit on that one. Like I said, I'll go back through and show you how to manually create a sketch. So instead of drawing lines, I'll do it both ways. I'll show you the easy way to do it. I was doing it dumb all day yesterday drawing these lines, but I'll show you both ways so we can see the dimension tool again. So let's select this line and blam, hit escape, and that will save it, because you notice how like I finished this line and it wants to keep drawing more. It thinks you want to draw more. You can hit this check mark, or you can just hit escape. And that will it'll keep your line, but it will get you out of that. Now, it won't do the same thing on spline, which I'll show you later. So be careful on spline. Do not treat spline like a line. Spline and line are two different things, and they react differently to your shenanigans. So let's do it here. And again, it shouldn't be exact because I don't want to zoom all the way in to try and get exact numbers. So I'm going to hit enter there, enter or escape. Now, D for dimension. And we are telling it from that line to this line, what is our distance? There we go. Remember what we wanted? Calculator gone. Actually, I remember. It's like 5.625. So if we look, you see how that line's there? It's not exactly on because I didn't zoom in and make it exact. That one's a little bit off, but since we are that close, that is perfectly fine for woodworking, because I promise you somebody doing it manually is not going to be able to get better than 5.631. So it's good enough. So I'm going to hit escape to get out of dimension. Let's go ahead and delete this. Now, an easier way to do this, instead of having to do lines and dimensions and all that, is hit R for rectangle. Let me show you this way of doing stuff. If you hit S, you see it has some default stuff that people usually like: 2-point rectangle, there's a spline, there's a line. But you could also type in there like rectangle, and I'll start seeing, I want a 2-point rectangle. So hit S to get to that little sub menu, and then you kind of search for the tool you want, which that really comes in handy later, you'll see, just to save the headache. But let's not make this exact again, but let's do a rectangle, let's say from here to here. If you look down here, which I'm pointing at my monitor, which you can't see, so you're just going to have to deal with it because I can't move my mouse. See at the bottom, under the rectangle, it says 5.628 inches. That's another way to get this measurement without having to draw a line here, and then use the dimension tool. Just don't create the rectangle, just act like you are, and they'll tell you how far it is from point to point. So I know it's 5.628. I'm perfectly happy with that. So I'm just going to hit escape and create my, there we go. All right, so since I've never calibrated side to side, I've only done it from top to bottom, we're going to do a double check here. So we're going to use the rectangle method again. And how long is it from top to bottom? Blam! You see that right there in the middle? That's why I put that right there in the middle. We know from top to bottom it's 27 and 7/8. That way we can easily reference our measurements by looking at our own damn picture. So let's just start a rectangle up here, somewhere where we think it's good. Again, we're not trying to get exact, just want to make sure we're close. And let's come down here. And to this line is 27.856. 27.856. 27.856. And we should be at 875. That's pretty damn good. I'm keeping that. So that's how you do it. Again, go to your canvas, calibrate, and select 2 points that you know the distance of. Like, you can do this with any drawing. If you have an intricate, delicate drawing and it's fancy and this and that, as long as somewhere in that drawing, you know, from this point, maybe it's a screw hole, maybe it's a scratch, what, like you took a picture of somebody else's thing, and you know from here to here, it is exactly 1 inch or 2 millimeters. You can calibrate the image. Now, again, test your calibrations, check as many angles as you can that you know to make sure it's calibrated properly, but that's how you calibrate an image. All right, so I'm going to delete this sketch here, just because that's one they created because they knew we were wanting to do stuff. And we're just going to create our own sketch, because now what we want to do, since we know all this is lined up, it's calibrated, it's the right height, we want to trace this. We want to be those ghetto artists. So what we do is come up here to sketch, and you'll see this little paper with the plus sign says create sketch. And I'm just going to click that, and I'm going to click the same plane that we're working on, which if you're looking from the top down, which usually you will be when initially setting up canvases, just select the same plane you're on. It'll be one right in front of see now it's blue, now it's not blue, now it's not. This one is the one you want. So you're basically clicking on top of your picture. So now we're sketching on the same plane as our drawing. So I'm going to do this fully with splines, which I hate, just because I hate moving my mouse that much. Now, most people, this is perfectly fine. If my Wacom tablet was working, I'd be using that just for the heck of it. But we're going to be using this with splines. And what you can do with spline, this is not a technical term. Keep in mind, I don't know this stuff well. If you are going to get mad at me for telling you something inaccurate, just leave now. I don't want to hear it. Well, I kind of want to hear it. You know, give me good criticism, you know, constructive criticism. But basically, the way I see a spline is it's a line that you can manipulate, like add curves to it, and as you go left or right, it'll kind of bend with it. And it'll make a lot more sense as I get going here. So we're going to hit S to bring up that sub menu. Now, usually splines are here, like it is for mine, but you know, we'll type it in. So let's do spline, and we are going to select spline. Now, our whole job here is a super fun, non-tedious, non-boring job of tracing out almost 30 inches of image, not including the width. Keep in mind that over here on the edges, we put it right on the edge of the black. So you want to make sure if you're not starting on an edge like that, that you stay on the black. Now, you don't have to be exact. You can change a little bit later if you're not happy with it. But, you know, stay on the edge as we're tracing. So we're actually going to start about right here. No reason. It's just in my eye, the part that I like. And I'm just going to start tracing this thing. And you see what it is? See how it kind of bends depending on the direction I go? Luckily, I'm just kind of going straight here, so I don't have to worry about bends yet. Add as many... You want to add as few splines as possible. I basically... I do one per screen, really, whenever I'm zoomed in this far. Just simply because my video card can handle it. The biggest reason you don't want a ton of splines... Now, for this kind of cut, this is a simple curvature cut. Whenever you get into rounded edges and chamfer and stuff like that, the splines can actually have a negative impact. But they're not going to here. But I like doing it this way on my PC just because I know my video card can handle it. So it's not going to bog it down because it's having to handle a bunch of splines. And that's one of the biggest reasons to me not to use a ton of splines. If you have a crappy laptop you're working on, you can still use this, but it's going to hurt it. It's going to bog it down some. But as you can see, now I'm starting to hit a curve, so you want to gently curve around. Like whenever I hit a curve, I get my splines really close together. Not all the way through, just at least for the initial start of the curve. So we're going to keep tracing this all the way around. Now you can kind of watch me through this. I'm going to speed up the video some so you don't have to watch me do this whole thing here. But this is pretty much it. I'm just going to go through, trace all this, and once I'm done, I will show you how to you know, adjust it a little bit whenever you see certain edges you don't like. All right, so we're done tracing this, which I made a bunch of errors initially, and I didn't try to correct them right off the bat because I wanted to discuss them with you. But as you can see, if I select here, this is what our piece kind of looks like. Let me get rid of the points here so you can see. That's what it looks like. You know, zoomed out, that does not look too bad. And honestly, I could cut this and, you know, with a little bit of sanding, I can make it just fine. But, you know, we're in here. We only have to do this once, so why not put a little bit more time into it? Because once you create this, what I love about Fusion and CNC is I model this once. I put in my time, and my time is valuable. But I only have to do it once. If I ever want to cut this again, once I'm done with it, I just get off my fat ass and walk out to a CNC, import my code, and hit go. That's it. Well, I got to put wood down, got to do that. But, you know, it's a little stuff. Anyway, I don't have to go through this tedious task. So you remember how, before I sped it up, that I was saying be sure you trace the outside line. I lied. I was wrong about that. And I realized it like right after I started, because you can see up here, well, somewhere up here. Well, I realized it around in here, but I just kind of kept going. Because the reason is, you have to remember that whenever we were making this in Photoshop, we made the edge on the inner, the blackest line, the thin black line there. So what we should have been doing is tracing along here. That's why you can see right here, I'm tracing along the middle here. But this was my initial start point. You see how far off it is? Whereas over here, if you were paying attention, I'm not sure how fast I'm going to speed this up, so maybe you couldn't see it all, so who the hell knows. You can see that, you know, I was out here, and these are just some spots I didn't intentionally mess up on. I'd love to say I did. But either way, I left them and didn't worry about correcting them because I was wanting to go through this with you anyway. But you see how I started following the middle of it instead of, you know, doing the outside edge. I mean, I started that way up here even after I realized the mistake. So now what we're going to do is we are going to finesse this and make it a little bit better. So you see these points, and if you make a mistake, like let's pull up spline here, and let's say we're putting it here, and you're like, oh man, that's too much of a curve. A good thing to do is just put another one close. Like, let's say like this curve back here was a little bit too much. Put another one close. And we're going to make two of these here, just so I can show you. So let's say you put one here, and you're like, oh, that spline's too much. But you go ahead and put your next one out just as far as you've been going. Now let's see what happens. For one, we're going to try to edit this. So let's say like on this one, we want to edit this so it just doesn't curve as much right here. Now there's multiple ways to do it. Like you can grab this point and kind of move it, manipulate, bring it in a little bit, whatever you want to do. You can, oh, no. You can click on it and twist it like this. And you know, if you put this point closer, that means you have these other points to play with. So let's say we just want to straighten out this area right here. Since I knew on this dot, I messed up, I put this dot down, I was like, oh damn, I put too much of a curve. So I created this one here as well because I knew I was going to need to manipulate this one. So this one helps anchor this spot for me. So I grab this one, and this is the one I manipulate. I can bring it in, I can bring it out because I want more of an oval, whatever you want it to be. Whereas this one, if you left the points still far apart, let's say like you were wanting to bring in this area right here, you kind of like we were doing up here, like you wanted to look kind of similar to that, let's say. That's going to be a little bit harder to do because you're going to try to come down here and you need to squint. You see how it's trying to keep that oval shape? Like we make a fantastic freaking egg, but that's not what we want. And that's because we don't have enough points. Now, remember, I do not know everything, and I freely admit that. If you know a trick to this, please let me know. Because this is how I have to do it. I have to do it this way so I can compensate for it, but it's my workaround and it works just fine. But I thought, hit S, I thought you could just add like another point here. Like I can select point and put it right here. And then, but the problem is if I try to move that, it moves the whole damn thing. Like, and I don't know why. I wonder, what is it? Yeah, no, see, that's not working. So you can't just add a point to finesse it. So again, this is why if I see I made a mistake, like you'll see as we go along these, that there's some points that are oddly closer than all the others, and it's because I realized I made a mistake, and I know I was going to want to manipulate it, so I added the extra point. That way I could play with it like this. You know, I have that anchor there, so I can work and fix the part that actually messed up. So let's delete those, and I'm gonna go through some of these, and then we'll speed it up again. And I'll stop here and there on certain points, but I don't want you to have to go through the whole thing because it really takes a little bit to do all this. But what we're gonna do now is basically this first line I did. I know definitely I need to realign it to the middle, so I'm going to grab this one, and it's a little bit slow because now it is. You know, I'm working with a pretty big spline image that I did, so it'll get a little bit better depending on what section you're on. But all I'm going to be doing is just moving these to where I want them to be. So it's more, you know, in the middle and not sticking out wrong. And the good thing about it, because it is a spline, it's going to curve. And so moving that one, you see how I kind of brought this one in as well. Not near enough, but you can see how each time you move one, it's going to manipulate the next one or the one behind it as well. And just so you know, if you have this problem, like I said, I have a, not the best card in the world, but GTX 1060 overclock with 8 gig of memory video card. And you see I'm having some trouble, because you got to remember, I'm manipulating vertices and angles of a almost 28 inch tall image, and almost 6-inch wide. And so that's a lot, because every time you move one, it has to calculate the math of how is that one affecting this one, this one, this one, this one, and you know, it's not really, but it still has to calculate that to make sure. Because Fusion isn't smart enough to know that, hey, you're just an idiot that, you know, was drawn on the wrong black line and can't color within the circles. And so it has to make sure if anything else is going to be affected by your move. But anyway, if you have this problem and it does get slow because you're working with the bigger one, just grab it, drag it, let go. You see, it lagged behind, but I knew exactly where I wanted to go, so you don't have to wait for it to show up there. If I look at it, I'm like, oh, yeah, that was too far, which, no, that wasn't too far. This one's just not far enough. Let's see, drag it. I want it about right there, and I'm just going to let go and wait for it to catch up. And the way I know it catches up, you'll see every time I do that, I kind of zoom. It's because that's how I know it finally caught up to me whenever it finally zooms out. So then I move up to the next one. Same thing. Grab it, move it, let it go. And whenever I say let it go, I'm talking about letting go of the mouse button. So don't be all weird on me. Let's see, all those are good enough. Because you got to think, I mean, let's go ahead and see. How far is this actually off? How much you need to worry about for normal woodworking? You know, this isn't NASA. How far is this actually off? Let's make a line from here. Just make a straight 90-degree line. Escape. And let's do a rectangle. And let's do it from there to just get those last pixels there. We are 0.012 inches off. You know, that space there is just 0.012 inches. So it's not like it's massive. Keep that in mind. You're not doing aeronautic stuff, and it's not exacting. You're going to be using sandpaper anyway, and I guarantee you your sandpaper is not going to make it perfect. So just keep that in mind. Don't break yourself trying to get the lines exact. Just get them close. Get them to where you like it. Like, ooh, I really like that shape, because that's what matters. You're making a shape here within, you know, certain constraints, you know, width, distance, or length and stuff like that. But you're making a shape that you want. Keep that in mind. You're not sending anybody to the freaking moon. Get over yourself. So now that you're over yourself and I'm over myself, drag and let go. Move. There we go. Yeah, let's go ahead and move this one. Might as well drag and let go. Alright, so I'm going to go through and I'm going to move a bunch of these and start getting them in place and everything, and I will slow the video back down once we're at a good point to start talking to one another again. Here we go. All right, so right here, you can see how I've been spacing these. You know, you got one here, got one here, got one here, and you know they're about evenly spaced. Nothing exact, just that's where I was comfortable putting them. But all of a sudden, right here, I have a bunch. Now, two reasons for that is one, you can see there's kind of a curve here, and I was kind of following the line, but also I wasn't happy with the curve. So this is what I was telling you about. I was like, I'm not ecstatic about this curve, and wasn't sure I wanted it like that. So I added some extra points. That way, I had room to play like this one. I don't know, maybe just bring that like minimal changes I needed here, but I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna want to change that. So I'm just gonna drag it down a little bit, straighten the line out a little bit more. And let's see. See, I don't like. It looks like it has like a pimple or something over here. Let's get rid of these points again. See that? That I'm not happy with. It's kind of wavy right there, which that is enough. Now, if you make it wavy, that does matter because your bit is going to make, even if they're small and you don't really notice it, you can probably feel it. So this, we definitely want to straighten out some. So let's get my points back so I can see what I have to play with here. Alright, so see, we want to get rid of this first wave. So I'm going to bring this one out. Okay, actually I need to zoom in some more whenever I do this. I don't know why I'm zoomed out so far. Not that close, this would be good. So see, since I put this one in the middle because I knew I wasn't comfortable with this, I can just kind of drag this one now. Because I kind of lined up the one above this and the one below it a little bit, which will help me straighten it out. So this one I'm just going to bring up a little bit and out a little bit. Let's see how that, see, the pimple's gone. But, you know, there's still this one right here. We want to fix this as well. But, you know, just give you an idea, that's how I fixed that first pimple. That's why I make the extra dots, which again, there may be a better way to do it. Like you can add points a certain way. That'd be great. But I don't know how. And this works just fine for me. And it'll work fine for you too until you figure out that trick. So let's go back in here. How do we want to? I think to get rid of this pimple is we're just going to bring this one in a little bit because it looks like it'll give it a nice curve here and it'll just kind of come along here. So let's get this one. If you were ever in marching band, you know you stay between two people. And well, if you call me a band nerd, I'm not going to argue. I was a band nerd in high school. But that's my thoughts right here. Is this guy is out of alignment. He needs to be in line with these two. So I'm going to bring it in just a little bit. Let go. See if that's good. This is where I wish the video was keeping up because trying to do finesse would be a little bit better. See, that looks a lot better. See, this one right here, I don't like. I'm going to bring that out just a little bit. You see how it's kind of doing that? A little curve to the inside, so we'll bring that out just a little bit. And again, I showed you earlier, these don't have to be exact. This is just my personal preference. Now we're just reaching the point of what I want. I'm like, I just want this to look a little bit better. So I'm going to go through, now that we kind of explained this a little bit, I'm going to speed the video back up and we'll get back together again once I'm done editing all these splines the way I want them to be. Alright, so we're going to start the video back up right here just because this is a spot where this wasn't intentional. I wasn't trying to learn anything, but I really messed up these lines because that's the problem with the spline. If you do get off too far, then trying to get it correct again just creates waves because it naturally wants to curve based on where your last point was. So this one got pretty bad. The only reason I'm slowing the video back down here is because I think all I have to do is I have to drag this over and bring it down a little bit, and that should help straighten that out. But I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm more than happy to show you my mistakes as well, so both of us can learn. But let's see. Let's try putting it there. Move it to the right and down. You see how we still got that curve right here. One of the ways I might need to fix this, because you can see over here, I started doing the outside drawing again, which I corrected these, but I didn't correct this one. So let's bring this one in some. Because that's why this one got so far off, is I realized I wasn't drawing in the right spot again. And so once I realized that and I started trying to correct it, that's when I started getting the wavy line. See, that helped a lot. Which I would like to get these more in toward the actual drawing I want it to be, but that's perfectly fine. This one, it's not really a big deal, but it's just there's no need for it to be out. It's not really messing anything up. There's just no need for it to be out, and I think I just drug it too far. Yeah, a little bit too far. See, this is where I'm just being anal about it. Because again, the drill bit's not that small of curve like that was. Nah, drill bit's going to eat more than that, or the router bit. So it doesn't matter. But again, we only have to do this once, so why not at least put time in once in your life to be somewhat successful. And I think if I saw everything correctly, I want to adjust one more, and I think we're going to be golden. And again, this one's a little bit outside the center line, but I'm okay with that because it's not too far off. These I put down the center line. Let's see what it looks like. Because I know I got two here, so that means I was trying to do something. Oh, no. Oh, it's because there's a slight curve. Remember I told you around curves I like to put more. So that looks good to me. Let's highlight it, just get an idea. If we go over here to the sketch palette, we can turn off points to get a better idea of what it looks like. Yeah, that looks really good to me. I'm perfectly happy with that because any small inconsistencies, the bit's going to eat away at it anyway. And like I said, you're going to, no matter what, you're going to have to do some sanding. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And it's going to fix those minor imperfections. So we're happy with this. Again, that was using splines to trace everything. We put the canvas on there, calibrated the canvas. So now that we're done, what we do is we will select it, make sure the body is selected, which is the thing we just traced. If you have something like this, let me see if I can show you without breaking it. Let's go here. That's gonna. Here, let me do this. If you ever want to test stuff like I'm about to do, one easy way to do it is just draw lines through points. And I'll show you why. Did you see a second ago whenever I tried to, whenever I hovered over, like, see how everything's red? Because I used a trim command. I hit T for trim. And again, you can get to that by hitting S and selecting trim, TR and select trim. Because what I was doing is I want to delete just a section because I want to show you what would happen if you left a gap, and an easy way to tell you left a gap somewhere. So I created these lines because it created a new intersection. See how there's two sides to this line even though it's a single line I created? It's because there's an intersection here now. So now I can delete just this part and not my whole thing. So we're going to trim that. Well, now, see how we have that gaping hole now? So now let's select, actually I can't. So you see how I can't, I'm clicking in here, but I can't select my body anymore because it's not a true body. Right now you have incomplete lines, splines, whatever it will be, but in essence it's incomplete. It doesn't know what to do with it because it's broken. So an easy way to fix that is just do another spline from here to here, or that's for each thread. I can use a line, but I'm just going to Control Z to get back to where I was. And see, now I can select it again because I have a full, complete, enclosed body. Alright, so now that we have a full, complete, enclosed body, we are going to select that body and hit E for extrude. And we know this is 3/4 inch wood we're going to be working with, so 0.75. And as you can see, we now have our wooden arm. This is what we would be cutting out. This will be the arm to the chair. And just so you know, let me make sure I'm going through these. The way I'm rotating this, if you hold down Shift and your middle mouse, then you can move the mouse around and actually rotate it. If you hold down just your middle mouse, you can just kind of move around and stuff like that. And of course, scroll is the scroll wheel, scroll in and out. But Shift middle mouse and to kind of rotate it, and middle mouse to move it around. So let's go back to top. And what we want to do, let's go ahead, let's hit A for appearance because it is appearance. And what Fusion 360 has in it is appearances, basically skins. You can choose to put on your model to kind of see what it would look like in a different kind of skin. Let's go down to wood. Let's do finished. Let's pick something that doesn't look like poop. Cherry. I like cherry. Let's try cherry glossy. For some reason, it won't let me download. So you see these warnings down here, because typically all you have to do is hit this download button and then drag and drop, but for some reason it's saying I'm having a network issue, even though I'm not. Material download has been temporarily disabled. Oh, due to an update in progress. Fantastic. Well, anyway, we'll just use this then. Oh, that's the one that's already in the design. Do I have any saved ones? It's doing an update. Okay, so I was right about that earlier. It is doing an update. That's a shame. Hey, oh, whoa, 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 I got these. So we can use bamboo. So you can see I already have bamboo downloaded. So I grab it. If it wasn't downloaded, I would just hit this down arrow and it'll download it real quick. It's pretty awesome how they put this in there. We'll do bamboo light semi-gloss and drag and drop it onto here. And you can see that, you know, it kind of gave it a bamboo color. Now, you see how we see our measurements and everything behind it? If you go over here to canvases, and hit the light bulb, it will turn that off. That way, all you see is, like if I want to sketch back, I can do that. But whenever you're not sketching, it automatically disables it or hides it. So if you want to hide or unhide something, just hit the light bulb next to it. So now all we see is the piece of wood. And you see this is what it looks like, which it didn't put it all the way around. All right, let's go ahead. Let's drag and drop on. There we go. Let's put it on all faces. Let's go back to top. Alright, so this is what it looks like right now. And we'll go ahead. Let's turn off sketch and turn off our canvas so we can just see our wood. Let's do a render. This is something I like to do every now and then just for the fun of see what it looked like in a little bit better quality. So this will be our arm right here. As you see, it's pretty basic, but still we did the work. You know, we did the Photoshop prepping the image, we did the spline, we tweaked everything, and I mean it looks really good. Honestly, I'm happy about doing stuff like this. It seems so small, but it's just fun because you're creating something out of nothing. Now if you leave it at just a render, you're creating a fake virtual thing out of nothing, so it's still kind of fake. But you know, I plan on cutting these out for our man versus CNC competition. So anyway, that's the video for now. I'll do another video which goes over doing tool pathing for this. That way we can actually cut it out and not just look at the render. Keep in mind everything went through on this. You know, editing Photoshop, try to make your canvas the same size and find the endpoints, the highest and the lowest endpoint, and set them on the borders, and the furthest endpoints on left and right and set them on the borders. That way, it just helps. You don't need to do that. It just helps later on. Using splines, it's all about curves. It does straight lines as well, but it's mainly about just curving around where you want it to be. Remember, if you make a mistake, just drop in another point that's kind of close by. That way you can manipulate it. And basically just have patience. Because like I said, you only have to do this once unless you decide later you want to edit just to add in another curve or something. But like this arm right here, I will never, ever, 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 ever have to do what I just did unless it's by choice. This time I was forced into it because I had to have this model, but I don't have to do it again unless it's by choice. But as I mentioned, guys, I don't know everything about this stuff. I freely admit that, and I'm more than happy to show you my mistakes because if you don't see my mistakes, you can't help me as well. So if you have thoughts, please share them with me. If you know, hey, you can do this so you don't have to drop points everywhere, please tell me. Tell me what you do to do the same thing I did. And I guarantee you, we will find little tips and tricks from each other, and we'll both be better for it. So I appreciate you watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you do comment and just, you know, give me some ideas, your thoughts, your comments. I'm going to try to do more of these, mainly because I have a Stepcraft 840 CNC, and it's hard to find videos on that. And I have to work on mine a lot because I'm really new to CNC. And so it's a lot of user error of stuff I did, learning how to put CNC together and working with it and stuff like that. So I wanted to start sharing those videos, so if somebody ever got a Stepcraft as well, they could come to my channel and see, oh, okay, this Fusion 360, because you can learn Fusion 360 anywhere. There's some great videos out there. But being able to take Fusion 360 into a Stepcraft, which it still applies to most CNCs. That's all I've been learning. I can still apply their stuff to my CNC, but it's not quite the same. And like, whenever an X carb or something acts weird, it's not going to act the same on a Stepcraft, vice versa. So that's what these are for. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you come back for more. Let me know if you'd like to see more or anything you'd like to change. Like if you want me to do these videos in the nude, I'm perfectly happy with doing that. Just gotta upvote, let me know, and I'm all about it. So it's fun doing it, guys, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks a lot.